Hello, everybody. Just gonna make sure that everything's live here. How's everybody doing today? I'll give everybody a minute to pop in. Hello, Patty. Your project was lovely. Very excited to pop into the Kraftin Kimmie Stamps group and do a little collab with Kim. She sent me this True North Strong and Free stamp set. Today was the release of it, and it's really, really cute. Lots of great Canadian images and icons and lots of great sentiments. This is going to be great for cards. Well, I'm doing a traveler's notebook scrapbook page, any kind of scrapbook pages. Patty did an art journal. Hi, Kim. Good to see you too. So this is really great. Along with that, if you have any kids in hockey, how fun is that going to be to use the hockey stick? Like the maple leaf is good for lots of things. But you can mix and match these images with lots of other sets. And Netta's sets, she does them in the same kind of style. So have a look through your sets and see what you can mix and match. And the kids are so cute. So definitely use the kids with other sets as well. But really loving this set, Kim. It's a really great set. So what I thought we would make today, I've got some pictures from Canada Day last year, and I wanted to make a little page. So we'll make the layout, and it really is quick and easy. And if you want to do scrapbooking, but you're not sure about, making large layouts, traveler's notebooks are such a great um, way to go. This is a little bit larger notebook, but you can get thinner and longer notebooks, lots of different sizes, and the pages come together really quick. So just by layering a few things, adding some color with some stencils and some ink, you can really add your memories in there, print a couple pictures. I printed these as a 4x6, so four on a 4x6, so they're 2x3 each. I think they're a great size. You can still get lots of detail, but they're not huge, and you can have, a little kind of journal that you can just write lots of stuff down, plus have photos. So I really like this size. I do lots of 12 by 12 as well, but I do love this size. And you can just, if you wanted to take a traveler's notebook with you and have some pictures printed off, or and even put your pictures in later, you could just put them in a bag, take them with you if your kids are playing sports or you're going to the beach or whatever. You've got a few little supplies and you can have fun just crafting on the go, which is nice. Oh, you're great at it, Patty, mixed media. Yeah, I had lots of fun. Today's a lovely day. We've had a little bit of warm weather, lots of chilly weather, but today is gorgeous. So it feels like summer to me. So this was really great to do as the weather got warmer. And you can do it. Get it ready for this year's Canada Day. You can use it with last year's, both. So have fun with it. I've also grabbed some inks. We've got Sandy Shores, Ruby Red, and Wicked Black. These are the cube inks, but they also come in the larger pad sizes. Then we've got stencils. I've got Geo1, Geo3. These are really great for any kind of layering. And I grabbed the number it stencil so I could add the date on. And I hadn't done that, so I'm quite proud of myself for thinking of that. So we'll tuck that under there. We've got a red pen from Zebra Pen and a Jelly Roll white pen. And then I thought we would do some coloring with Olo markers. So these are alcohol markers. You can use them the same as Copics. They're alcohol based. I'm really having fun with them. They come in half, like a half marker, which is actually has as much ink as a full Copic. So they're very economical and they have lots of ink and it's a free flow system. So if you haven't looked at Olo and you're thinking about getting into alcohol markers, check them out. I do have some Copics, which I'm going to continue to use. You can use them with these, but these were kind of nice and they're easy as well to take on the go. And then you can have there's different nibs that you can get, but I have the brush nib and then I coordinate a lighter and a darker color that I would use when I'm coloring. So I'm having a lot of fun playing with these. And hello, Tamara, how are you? Kim just linked up the new stamp set. Be sure to check that out because I'm sure it is not going to last long. It's very cute. Hello, Jana. South Alabama. I bet it's hot there, hey? Yeah, you're right, Kim. It is a great way to capture your memories. And I feel like too, it's a smaller size and you don't have to feel overwhelmed, right? We've got a paper pad. This is Simple Vintage Berry Fields. I think maybe it was it last year. I just grabbed some colors that I liked, and then that's what I pulled out of it. So we've got a couple things from that paper pack. I have one of the cards of the cut apart cards on the 6x8 pages. I have some patterned paper that I cut down and I stamped some of the sentiments onto the gingham. It's a light yellow, so I felt like the stamp images still, or these sentiments still showed up really nicely. So we've got that to add. We may as well start with coloring and then we can just put it together. And I pre-cut out my images just because um, I knew we were live and then I could have them all cut out. And this is the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L Easy Dots repositionable. So I like it because I can stick my things on and they stick, but you can easily take them off, it doesn't rip. And I also, when I'm doing a card, I use it to keep my card closed so that I can put things on the card. And then when you take the things off, or when you open it up and you want to get rid of that adhesive, you just like literally just rub it with your finger and it comes right off. So I do like using that, and I thought it would be a good way to have my images pre-cut, but not try and color them after you've cut them and you're trying to hang on to them. That drives me a little bit crazy. So if I was coloring on the go and wanted to pre-cut them, this is probably what I would do as well, and then just bring this. Or sometimes I'll just stamp, put it on a clipboard, bring my scissors with me, and just enjoy the process. So let's do some coloring. I didn't really write down the colors I used. So I have these Olo markers. I do need to figure out some storage, but for now I have like a lighter and a dark, and there's lots of YouTube videos about Olo markers. So if you're interested, check them out. And then I have, for the most part, I kind of keep the darker end of the marker on this side, and that's how I've been grabbing them. I have to figure something out, but for now, this is okay. And this also is a pretty small container that I can just pop in a little bag and take with me too. So I can, or I have stamped my images. You can use the Wicked Black ink, and it is a hybrid ink, and you can watercolor with it because it's permanent, but you can also use alcohol markers with it. So that's nice to have on hand, and the cubes are small enough that you can just throw in a little bag. Yeah, it's a great one, Patty. It works really well. Hi, Michelle. Um, okay. This the number at stencil GO1 and GO3. Kim's linked all the stencils there. Yeah, you got it. You got burnt working in the garden. It's hot. Um, hot here today. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Of course, Erica is in soccer and her game is tomorrow. And last Sunday we played and it was freezing on Sunday. It's not going to be as cold, but pretty cold. Like it feels like 3 in the morning and rain, and they still play. So I don't know. I'm going to dress up warmly. So I've got some browns here. Let me see. I think this is probably what I used for the mousse. Let's see. I I maybe should have written them down, but you know what? It's fine. This was more of a yellow that I know I used that one for the syrup. We've got the red and we've got the blue for the little blue jeans. And then I have a really light color that we're going to use for the antlers. And we'll just pull any more out as as we need. This is also a brown. No, this is kind of a, I don't know. It is a brown, but more of like a green tone. I don't think I used that. So this one is OR 7.4. I mean, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the colors. And I like that these I've already um, put them together because when you get them, they're apart. So I've put them together to match as a dark and a light. And how I like to do it, so there's, let's see here, the 7.6 is the darker. How I like to do it is to put on my darker shade first, and that's also how I do Copics. Let's, so weird that it is not, oh, there we go. Okay, there, now we're zoomed in. I do the same thing with Copics. I do my darker shade first, but you can do it whatever way that you want. And I'm just adding some shading around the, the area that I think should be shaded. I am really not overly concerned. I love Melanie's style of color. She does like the beautiful watercolor and the shading is perfect. I know myself that I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be there. So mine is kind of like have fun coloring, get it done, enjoy it. So then I'm going over the darker part and I'll probably leave a little bit and then come in maybe even with a third color, we'll see. Um, and I'm just blending out that darker color with the lighter color. It's going to automatically blend out. They have quite a few colors. They have the bullet nib if you prefer that. And they have the chisel. I think they're just coming out with the chisel tip as well. I kind of like the brush. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to come in with a little bit. I don't think this is the right color. No, let's see. We'll do this one. So this one is, and they're a little bit different numbering system than the Copic, but when you see their videos and how they explain it, it really does make sense. So I am going to go over the areas that I want to keep lighter, and then I'll probably come back over it with the other marker just to shade. I'm really not going to worry too much about it though, if it's not perfect, because I think as long as you've had fun coloring it and just blending that a little bit. And sometimes you need to blend it a bit and then just kind of let it sit for a minute. So we'll see. So how's everybody doing? Did you get the set? Are you coloring along with all these amazing videos today? Let's see, I'm gonna use this light marker as well, and we'll do his cute little antlers. I love these moose, and one of my favorite Netta sets is from Kraftin Kimmie is the Christmas one. I don't know if it's one that has sold out, but this little guy, and I haven't compared them, but I think he would probably match with the moose in the Christmas set, which I think has a Christmas tree in it, if I'm remembering right. And they could be like moose friends at Christmas. I think that would be really cute. Let's see. I do want to add some black and I want to add a little bit of rosy cheeks. So I'm going to come in with this rosy color, which Coco decided she wanted to, try some coloring or something. I don't know. But was probably very disappointed that she lost the marker. And I'm going to grab a black pen. Let's see. What do we have here? I could use a black Copic, but I just want to do these small areas. So this is the Zebra Sarasa vintage pens, which are ballpoint pen in some really fun kind of retro colors. You can see, and they write very nicely. So I just decided to do the black with that because it's really nice and dark. Okay, and then let's do the maple syrup. So I have this one that's almost like a bit of a yellowish color, and we'll use that. You guys have photos that you have from last year's Canada Day. What do you guys do on Canada Day? We just went to the park. So we have a local park, and we actually went a few days early because Canada Day was not really great. Like the weather wasn't great, but the like a day or so before it was beautiful, and so we decided to go have a picnic and enjoy the weather while it was really nice. And so I'm like, that's what I'm using for my Canada Day pictures. Um, and you know what? I used a different color for her hair here, but I think I'm just gonna go with the maple syrup color for her hair. So I'm gonna do a little bit of dark, and that's going to be around the edge, and then we'll come back after and do a little bit of the highlighting areas, or the areas we want to add some definition. She is really, really cute. Bye. All right, and then we'll come in with the lighter color. Oh, that was one of your first sets, Michelle. Yeah, it's so cute. You're creating between videos. Nice. I find that for some reason, International Scrapbook Day, it's like it sneaks up on me or something. So I'm gonna, and if you have a little spot where you've kind of gone over an area where you shouldn't, this is my Copic one. The Olo markers have a a blending marker as well, but it just works to whichever one you have is fine. And it's the colorless blender, which doesn't blend, it just removes color. All right. So as long as you kind of go in right away and put that colorless blender over, it seems to remove it nicely. All right, so then I'm going to come in with this lighter one as well. I feel like whether you have whatever alcohol markers you have, it's nice to have an assortment. I'm probably going to go over with that other marker, but I'm just seeing what I think of these highlights. And it's also, I think if you want to try some different hairstyles or hair colors, this would be a great set to do some swatches. So you stamp her and the boy out a few times, and then you just do different, you could make a note of what colors you're using, um, make a note of, what color you're laying down first. I'm going to come in with this darker color now. And that's where I'm just kind of adding a few shading details. And I'm going to call that good. It's not fancy schmancy. It's, I've had fun coloring. I'm okay. It's going to look cute on my page. It's good. All right, here we've got a red for all the red elements. So we're going to color this maple leaf. And I'm just going really carefully so I don't go out of the lines. It's hard to do that when you're live and you're not as close. I think we don't realize how close we kind of look at stuff to color. And when you're standing up, it's always a bit of a challenge. All right. What else oh, and the hockey stick. And if you use some of the same colors, then this is all going to coordinate. Now, if you were doing this for like a little hockey card for somebody or a hockey layout with some hockey pictures of your kids, you could coordinate their shirts and their hockey sticks to whatever color their team is or their uniform is. That would be cute. So just starting over the darker marker that I colored in and then filling in the rest. And as soon as it hits that darker marker, then it blends, which is nice. And after you leave it for a minute, like we left this guy, and I'm happy with how that blended out in the center. Does anybody have any summer plans? Are you going away or staying around? Okay, we're going to do this little beaver, and what color did I do? Maybe I did use this one here. Let's just see. Yeah, I think I used this. Summer seems so short here in Calgary, so we will be staying around, enjoying the weather. Erica got a little volunteer position with the city at some kids' camps, so she's really excited to do that. She loves being outside and she loves helping and being around lots of people, very extroverted. So she's going to be busy doing that for a few weeks. And I feel like it's been so long since I've chatted with you guys. Amy is finishing grade 12, so she's her grad is coming up next week, and she's my middle daughter, for anybody who didn't know. So she's got her beautiful grad dress. They have their banquet that they're going. Oh, you loved it, Michelle? Yeah. Oh, Mr. G is so cute. Let me catch up on these. Um, Lorraine, thank you. Okay, so Coco is very good. Um, she was barking a lot. Like she's just insane. It was like I need to do something about this. So I was watching some videos, dog videos, and I got her a different leash. It's kind of like a slip lead. Um, and she's doing much, much better. Like we couldn't even go for a walk without her sounding like she was going to go crazy, barking at other dogs, but she wanted to meet them, but she sounded like a lunatic. Just one second here. So anyway, that's working out much better, and she's so cute. Like, and she's such a good puppy, other than the barking, which is going much better. I like these little lines that Netta puts as well on her stuff because it's a great place to highlight stuff. What do we have here? Oh, we're going to add some of this brown. And so Mr. G, who is Baby Gordon, he is so good. He is 8 months, coming up on 8 months, and he's just so sweet. He's crawling. I try to go over on Mondays to visit my oldest daughter, Stephanie. So he's my grandson. And I didn't get over there last week, and I feel like he's going to be doing all this stuff that he wasn't doing the week before. Like he's crawling and he's pulling himself up, and it's just going so quickly. So most of these, I'm just using 2 markers to blend. A little bit here, so I'm just going to dab it. I'm going to add a little bit of gray shading, so that's not going to matter too much. But let's see, let's add some blue to her eyes. So what I'm doing for her eyes is, I'm actually going to add the lighter blue. And I'm coloring this whole part in, but then I'm going to color in a black and a white part. I'm going to layer that on top. So there's lots of different ways to color the eyes, and check out how the design team has colored them. Then her little eyebrows. We're just gonna, actually I should have done her face first. But we'll just be careful when we do that. Let me see here. What did I use for her skin tone? I may have used this. I think maybe I used this one. I also have some skin tone Copics as well. I think I did use this. This is that 7.1. And let's see. Oh, for the hockey sticks, yeah, it's perfect. The critters are adorable, Jana. Patty's going to Medicine Hat and Saskatchewan Nice, exploring somewhere new. Michelle loved working kids camp. Such a great thing too to put on your resume when you get older and older kids looking for a job. Um, I am not going to be at Carnival, Patty. I was at the Calgary Carnival, and then all this grad stuff is kind of starting that weekend that Creative Scrapbooker Edmonton Carnival is on, and it was just too much. Like I was gonna try and go, and it was just like, no, I'm feeling a little stressed. I need to. So the Sunday is Amy's grad banquet. So it's like the dress up where she wears her fancy dress, and then the the Monday, let me just see here. The Monday after is, I'm just thinking about what color to do. I'm going to bring in my grays, which I don't have any grays in these yet. So I'm just going to use the my Copics, which you can mix and match them together. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, then Monday is band camp for Erica, and they're going away, and she wants me to go and volunteer. So that's Monday and Tuesday, and then Grandma's coming on Wednesday to stay till Sunday, and then there's a band concert on Thursday. This is all like 1 week in the end of May, and then on Friday is the graduation where there's like 900 students graduating. I don't know really why I pulled this color out. What am I doing with it? I want a lighter one. Okay, I'm gonna go with the N0. So it's gonna be a really, really busy. This marker is dry. And this is one thing that I dislike about Copics. I I don't know whether the marker cracks or what. Like I've refilled this and it's still, look at that. That drives me bonkers. Um, with with the Olo markers, to refill them, I'm going to show you. So I don't, like, I'm guessing maybe this had a crack in, has a crack in it somewhere, and that's why, even though it's completely refilled, maybe it got too dry. I don't know. But it bugs me because now I have to either buy a new marker. Anyway, this is what comes with the Olo refill. They're really cheap, and you just I haven't watched the video, but it's like you just replace the nib on it. So I think you just pull that off, put your nib on, and it's good to go. It's like full of ink. So that was one reason that I decided to invest in some of these Olo markers. Anyway, we're back to the N2. On that side note, I don't know, does that bug anybody else? So I'm adding a little bit, just a really little bit, because I wanted a lighter gray, but this isn't happening today. So I just want a little bit of gray just for shading. I'm going to put a little bit of gray on here. So it looks like the shirt, I mean, it still looks white. It's just like, that's your shading. Okay, and then what else do I want to add that on to? I think that was it. Then we'll do, instead of black, I'm going to do a gray because then I can get a little bit of shading and it will look black. So Amy is applying for lots of scholarships right now, and for university, she's gotten into the U of C, and she's going to do chemistry. She's very excited, but now she's has to apply for her scholarships, and they do ask a lot of things like, you know, did you volunteer in the community? Um, you know, what kind of things did you do in your community or volunteer work? So that's something that Erica will be able to put as well on her application. She decides to go that route, but it's all very exciting. And of course, Stephanie is doing great. She's loving being a mom. Baby Gordon is so happy. He's so sweet. And I love being a Nana. Let's see, what else am I missing? We'll put a little bit of pink. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the lighter pink on this little guy, and it's almost bleaching out the brown, and then I'm going to wait for a minute and then add the darker pink. But I am going to add a little bit of pink to his ears. And then she's going to have a little bit of pink, but I want the lighter pink on her cheeks. Have to do rosy cheeks. And then we'll come in with that black. Yeah, the quality has gone. I know, and it used to be quite a large refill for the Copics, and I know they did cut those down. You're switching over to Olos too, Michelle? Oh, new colors, yeah. And I really like their website too. For the Olo markers, they have lots of resources and stuff as well. So let's color in. If you like coloring, like I find these images are such a great size. The Kraftin Kimmie Stamps images, great size for coloring, and I like coloring. So use something that you like. I do like using watercolors as well, but sometimes I just like using some Copics or Olos, alcohol markers. All right, and then I'm going to draw in the black part right over the area of the blue. And if you were nervous about doing that, you could do it with a pencil first. Make sure you get it how you want. You kind of see, like I just left a little bit of blue around the edge. I don't think I need this black for anything. Oh, I forgot to finish the hockey stick. We'll come in here. Sometimes I will use the paper that I'm using as a color palette for the colors I want to color the images in. But I knew, like when I started with this, I knew that, of course, I want the maple leaf to be red. And then I knew that I wanted some browns and that syrupy color. And then really I just added in some blue for her jeans. So then I think we're done coloring. So move those out of the way. Then I'm going to use a white, just a white jelly roll pen. This is an 8 and it seems to be flowing well. If you find that you have issues with the jelly roll pens, that they're not flowing well, if you use the number 10, it seems to work really nicely. I never have problems with those. And you can get a pack of like 5 or something, which is great. So I'm just going to add some like dots and lines, especially near the already drawn in, those little lines that have already been drawn in. Oh, I wanted to add a little bit more pink to that cheek now. So it bleached it out. Then I can come over and add a little bit darker pink. and it's going to show up a bit more rather than me just trying to put that pink straight on the brown. Patty, they are more affordable. They're, how much did I? So one of the art supply stores here was selling the marker for $6, and it has um, the same amount of ink, I believe. It's when I watched the video, it said it has double the ink that a Copic, but I think that's if you have two ends together. So I'm going to say one is at least the same amount of ink in a Copic, and a Copic is like usually $10. This was $6, and then the refill was like $3 or $4. So you can just keep refilling it. And because you're using, and it might even be double the ink, um, because it's free flowing ink, it's not in any kind of, there's not any kind of thing in the inside the marker that soaks up the ink, and then you have to kind of get the ink out of that thing. Um, that's, it's kind of a neat technology. So you definitely get more ink for less price. Okay. Get the little dots. I always put dots on the cheeks. And the little dots here. I wanted her to have a little white in her eyes as well. If you ever find your markers kind of getting a little bit of stuff on it, just rub it off to the side. And we'll do this one. And then I like just adding a few details as well. You can also go over any areas that you kind of made a boo-boo and you want to add a little bit more, take off some of that color that maybe didn't completely come off with the colorless blender. And it's the highlights are not something that you even, you know, really notice. It just adds to the whole look of everything. I like the look of the highlights. And you kind of get an idea, you know, do some dots, do some lines. I usually do some around a curve. And you don't need too many. All right, there we go. We're going to add a little bit of kind of a googly eye effect to this guy. He's so cute. All right, I'm going to fix this girl's eye a little bit. I feel like it was a little bit weird. Okay, we don't want weird eyes. There we go. So cute. Also gonna just go very carefully around the edge. There, I think that's what it was. The white was too close to the edge. Okay, not that anybody else would probably even notice. All right, we've got our images all colored. Let's grab our book. So I've just got another kind of traveler's notebook here. This one's lined. This part goes together really quickly. If you haven't checked out the Kraftin Kimmie stencils, be sure to do that. So this again is the ruby red ink. A little bit. This is a one that I did for a different Kraftin Kimmie set. So we're just turning the page and we're going to keep going. That was a retreat. I saw that Kim is having another spring retreat. Those are always amazing. You get so many good classes. Be sure to check that out. You get the live video and you get the sets. And so you're able to just create right along with the teachers, which I love. If you were worried about this, you could like mask stuff off, but honestly, I feel like this is just our background. We're adding some color. We don't need to really worry about it. So I'm tapping my brush, I'm not going really heavy-handed, and then I can just bring that color out and add as much as I want on. And look how nicely it kind of fades. Same thing the other side. This is the Geo 1 stencil. And there's so many ways that you could use this. This too reminds me of somewhat like stained glass, or you could even see like a flower pattern in that, or like the quilted look with those linked rings. And even though we're doing different stencils, we're using the same ink, and so it's just looking quite cohesive, and we're still using the red, which we used on our stamps. So it has, even though there's, you know, nothing with the stencils or the paper that is Canada Day themed. Yeah, that's perfect. We're still getting that feel because of those matching elements. 8 classes scheduled so far. That is amazing. And half the spots for that spring retreat are sold. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a good deal. And Michelle, are you in the US? But Patty, the Canadian distributors can get them. So I did order through my local scrapbook store, the Olo markers. Canadian distributors can order them in, and art supply stores have them. So you can, instead of ordering online and worrying about the dollar and stuff like that, I would just either ask your store to order some in or check with your local art supply store. And they probably have them because they are actually quite popular. Okay, now we've got our 3x4 card that we took from that berry, vintage berry simple stories. And I didn't want it to look like I was just putting a 3x4 card on, so I decided just to hand tear the edges. I like that it's kind of like a postcard, like, you know, that kind of travel theme, even though we weren't really traveling. Then I'm going to use the Sandy Shores ink, add a little bit of grunginess to the edges. I'm going to grab my glue press. Kim's going to grab the link, and okay, so I'm just going to use this glue press. Add some glue, or if you have some tape runner, you can use that. And then I'll worry about trimming off my corner after. And then I would come in with my photos, and I did cut I did cut some little rectangles, and of course I have no idea where I put them. Let's see, they're probably right under something. Are they here? Who knows? Oh yeah, they're under my markers. Okay, so if I'm making an album or a scrapbook page and I didn't have the photos right with me, or if I was giving it to someone, I just cut these at 2¼ by 3¼ and then when I have my 2×3 photos, I know they'll fit on. So then I can just start layering on my photos. So the lines or the dots make it really easy to line things up. And this is where you can really just start layering things. So if I wasn't looking at what I already created, what I would do is be laying these on without gluing them down yet. And I'm going to come over on this side and I want to do the same thing. I'm going to tear this. Let's see here. What do I want to do? I'm going to start here. I know I want it to be against the edge, but I want this to have a torn edge so that it just looks more fun, I think. Again, we're going to add a little bit of this ink. And depending on the way that you tear the paper, I kind of tore it toward me, and so I have that ripped look. And I love this almost vintagey look, although that paper is really fun, but I didn't think the ruler kind of went with Canada Day. But the green goes with, you know, the green in the background. So that was my thought process there. Okay, we're going to line that up. Even if we're off a little bit, we can just trim that off after. Then this one is going to be up here. Oh, you love the glue press, Patty? Yeah. Me too. Okay, I'm going to line that up. Put this one on. And then if I decide to give this album to somebody, it's kind of like they can put the pictures in themselves, which is nice. I usually don't, if I'm adding, if I'm making a card, I always add foam dimension. But if I'm making a traveler's notebook page, then I usually glue things on. I find when you're layering the paper, it does give you a little dimension, but if you have a whole bunch of foam layers, I find that it gets to be a little bit much in a traveler's notebook, but you do whatever you want to do. So these I'm just hand cutting because I'm going for this journal scrapbook page that's not, you know, it's not perfect. It's like hand cut images in there. So I stamped them on, but if you felt that you wanted to trim these with a trimmer or use a die to cut them out, like one of the sentiment die strips dies, then you do whatever you want. But I love just that feel of, you know, my grandmother, who we always called Nanny, she had these scrapbooks where, and I wish, like that's one thing I wish that I would have had from her. She had these scrapbooks that She glued in magazine pages, and I don't think she wrote in them. She didn't have pictures or anything, but they were like collages, like an art journal. And I remember I used to look through them when I was a kid. I loved them. So this reminds me of that. Love this. Have a damn good day. You could just do that one with that beaver and um, do that for a birthday card. That would be super cute. All right, now we can go ahead and put on, oh, and I'll do this first. So this number at stencil, so fun for birthdays. But I thought, why don't we use this for doing our date in these cute little bubble letters. So if you were a little bit worried, you could use a pencil first. I'm just going to go slow. And because we're already having that hand cut look, it doesn't matter if this is on exactly perfect. This is handmade and it is our scrapbook memories. And then I'm going to leave that little area and join that. But you could, depending on the look, if you want it to have that stenciled look. Okay, and here we go. And then I might even just leave off the last number because maybe if I'm giving this to somebody and they want to do it for this year, maybe they'll do 2025. There's what 2024 looked like. So if you had a page that you had any kind of date or number information, that would be a really fun way to add that in. And then we can add in our cute little images. So we're just pulling them off because it was that temporary adhesive. Add our glue. I used Nina Solar White cardstock for the paper, which works great with Copics as well. There. And then she's going to hold the hockey stick. I even have pictures of Erica in the winter playing hockey in the garage. That would be fun to use this with. The journal stamps, oh yes, and I just briefly, because I didn't realize that she had those, briefly looked at the website and thought, I'm gonna have to come back to look at that. The journal stamps would be great. Patty says part of why she started art journaling is to give away. Oh, you give away all your projects, but you don't have them saved for yourself. Yeah. Yes, definitely nice to personalize. You're right, anniversary would be great for a card as well. Um, oh yeah, yeah, there is red and green. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. It does. You still get that effect. Um, it's not Christmassy. However, if you did that as a background and then you had the Christmas stamps on here, that'd be fun too. And then you'd have, so you could use this kind of layout for anything. Very easy, and it has lots of ways that you can use it. Lots of ways to add photos. This cute little mouse, he's my favorite. Okay, and then I like that there's a little stamp there. So we're going to add this right to the little stamp area. I like having these all colored first because then it's like you're creating your own little stickers. And if you could also um, put a self put a double-sided adhesive behind your paper, and then when you cut them out, it totally would be like stickers. Come over a little bit. All right, so that is our Happy Canada Day. Tuck this under here a little bit. Traveler's notebook. And once you get your photos in there, and then you just, I love adding journaling anywhere around the page. Um, I could add a little note here that we were by the walkway, or Amy and Erica. So lots of ways that you can personalize that after you get it done. And thank you, Kim, so much for having me, for sending me the set and letting me come on and do a live. It's been really great to hang out with you guys again. Be sure to check the website for all the new goodies and have a look at all the amazing projects that everyone's sharing today. Definitely so much inspiration. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out and watching and crafting with me. If you're crafting along, we can't wait to see what you're sharing in the group as well. Share what you're making, or if you're inspired by anything in here and you're using your Kraftin Kimmie stamps, we want to see them. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.